Hello, this is Clemmy Games and welcome to a first look at Hypernova Escape from Hadea, a game which mixes real-time strategy with tower defense centered around gathering resources to build a stargate to escape a dying system developed by Actalogic and released on Steam in September 2017. For disclosure, I received this game free. You control the Scythians, a humanoid alien race with Jamaican accents for some reason.
Hadea I, Kriba da Cynthia, Tips and Jäger overrun.
Translation activated.
Over civilization. Oh, okay. Test 1 2 1 2. Is it working? Let's try again.
Hi, who you talking to?
Be quiet, man. I'm doing the intro.
Oops, sorry.
Hadea, home of the Cynthians. For many ages we have built here, and we have prospered. But the same resources that have allowed us to thrive are failing us.
The main star in their system, Nadira, is on course to implode, condemning all of the Cynthians to a fiery death. Their last hope lies in constructing the stellar bridge to warp a select few Cynthians to a system near the star of Trodun, but in order to do so, they need to land on their moon of Hypernova to gather the necessary resources. Unfortunately, the moon is covered by a toxic fog and is home to a vast array of dangerous creatures. Regardless, a colony must be built and resources gathered to ensure the continued survival of the race. You start off by flying your mothership around to look for a suitable location, where the crux lies in the availability of mineral deposits of Multicrete, Omnifoam, and Zap. But for simplicity, I shall just refer to them by their colour, namely red, yellow, and green. Red and yellow are necessary for the construction of most buildings, while green is mainly used to propel your buildings and for research. The foundation of every colony lies in power relays, purifiers, and drillers, which transfer power from your mothership to other buildings, clears the poisonous purple smog covering the moon, and mines minerals respectively. Buildings in the game have an effective range, indicated by the circle around any prospective landing site, which, combined with the limited amount of building space, can lead to interesting optimization decisions. Here, you will notice on the minimap that there is a vast network of routes covering the map, which you will be unable to build on, which are of course there for the tower defense portion to work. As you get your drillers going, the next objective is to provide housing, food, and water for your population, which does add in some very light city building mechanics. Food and water are necessities, without which these homes will not be able to sustain any population at all. A little further on, you do unlock amenities such as education or sanitation, which improves the growth rate of the population in the affected houses. Population is a crucial resource here, since several major research options are gated behind reaching a certain population level, and in order to build the Stargate and to win the game, the population of the colony must exceed 100,000 Scythians. Speaking of research, there is a fairly extensive tech tree in this game, with unlocks such as increasing the maximum amount of energy that the mothership outputs, increasing the total number of buildings that can be supported, as well as various new buildings and turrets, which gave a good sense of pacing to the game. As mentioned, the green mineral is essential for research, and you can even allocate a larger amount of it to research in order to speed it up. The tower defense elements come in due to the presence of hostile alien species on the moon, which the game does introduce with a little background information. Creatures spawn from the various caves littering the map, with new species being introduced at certain intervals. I found the variation in creature design to be quite enjoyable, and was always looking forward to the next species unlocked. Of course, these enemies do get tougher as time goes on, so your defenses must be up to snuff as well. If left alone, these creatures will begin to attack your buildings, erasing the progress that you made in developing towards a certain direction or objective. As mentioned, the main goal is the construction of the stellar bridge, but in order to do so, you need to gather 4 types of special resources which you must tag up to in order to mine. As such, enemies can pose a serious threat to the gathering of these due to their damage to the buildings. Critically, if they do manage to take out a power relay, this could have devastating consequences on your entire colony, since a relay relatively close to your mothership could potentially be linked to a large part of your entire base, which will suddenly be cut off from power, leading to the mist eliminators not working and for the smog to return, slowly corroding and destroying all of your buildings. As such, I do recommend protecting your relays above all else and for there to be backup relays if possible. One thing which irked me was due to the presence of multiple caves, it can be difficult to determine which direction the enemies are coming from, meaning that more often than not, you have to have a couple of turrets on standby so that they can quickly be deployed to the area that needs them the most. Of course, there are buildings up the tech tree that allows you to determine which cave will launch the next attack, but it did feel a little like busy work to me. As a side note, I am not too sure about the longevity of the game, in that the single map that I am on seems to be rather large, and the idea of building a stargate to escape the system could mean that this is the entire game. Nothing wrong with a shorter game, but just a point to note if you want to pick this up. Overall, I did enjoy my time with Hypernova, since I thought that combining the two genres was interesting and could be explored further in other games. I do like base building games, and the concept of having to fend off attacks through using turrets did give me something to do, rather than to simply watch the colony grow. The smog and power relay systems did slow down the pacing of the game, which I thought could have been a little quicker, but interesting game nonetheless. Anyway, that will do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.